Okay, I had to make a video about ChatGPT's Image 2.0 because I've been making some product photography, marketing images for our business, and I'm kind of blown away by it. So let me show you what I've been doing here and why I think this is so awesome. Okay, look at this. This is draft number 1 of a summer special drink menu for Cups, the coffee shop that I work for. And this was just a one prompt pretty much. I didn't give it a lot to work with. I left a lot of the styling decisions up to ChatGPT, and it gave me this. And I read through here, unless I missed something, there's no typos, which in and of itself is head and shoulders above where we were at this time last year, even a few months ago with the image generation stuff. And it looks really, really good. Now, these are images that it's created. These are not stock photos that I've given it. I'll show you in just a second some tasks that it's done for me, combining real images with ideas. But this is just off the cuff. I gave it our recipes. I told it what we needed to be highlighted here. I gave it our logo. And you can see this is pretty close to the logo file I gave it, but there are some textured things that it is adding in here, which goes in line with the other textured stuff here that is on this poster style paper. So the detail is kind of amazing. I've been impressed with what it's given so far. I went through a few rounds of iterations with this to end up basically here. And instead of what it gave me, I actually took a photograph of our coffee bag in my kitchen on my cell phone. It was not a good photograph, but it gave the image modeler here the idea of what our bags looked like, and they are indeed exactly like this white bag. And I said, hey, this is not perfect, but you're gonna have to clean it up, but this is what our bags look like, so I need you to put the labels that I'm gonna give you, which happen to be this coconut cream label right here. So I gave it this one right here, if I could draw correctly, and I gave it this creme brulee one right here, and I said, hey, here are the images of the actual labels. This needs to go on top of the bag that you're gonna create. And did exactly that. I know our bags, so this is not exactly perfect, but it is 98% perfect in what I would want from it. It saved a ton of photography time, and I'm very pleased with how this turned out. Now, I made some other tweaks to the tops of the drinks up here, and in fact, I just noticed something. It added back on some stuff here that doesn't actually come on our drinks. I'm going to have to get it to take that stuff off. But on the whole, this is incredibly cool and saves a bunch of time. This, combined with an actual graphic designer, is like superpowers. And then I asked it to make kind of a teaser version right here, and it did that. Now, let's move on to example number 2. So I saw my boy Maynard holding up some coffee in one of his pictures, and I said, you know, that's a cool picture. I wonder if ChatGPT could recreate this with me in it. So I gave it this image of me, which is a headshot in another project that I had it make yesterday. But as you can see, like, this is actually me. It's not a kind of AI generated or tweaked version of a photograph. This is a photograph I took yesterday while wearing a hoodie. And so the face, the complexion, all that is exactly what I took, but then it gave me a nice button down, which I kind of think I might ought to go buy a button down now because that looks pretty nice on me. What do you think? And then it gave this kind of studio headshot background. But that's not the point. That's not this project. I gave it Maynard, I gave it Eamon, and I gave it this bag. This is the bag I was talking about from my kitchen of Captain Gabriel's blend. I said, hey, this is, and you can see what I said. It's right here. This is not a great image. I know it's not a great quality picture of the bag, so do your magic and touch it up so it looks awesome, but don't change the label. And look at this. I mean, it did exactly what we wanted it to, if I could zoom into the correct spot. Look, I mean, it's blurry a little bit, but I mean, when we're just looking at it right like this, it's darn near perfect. So this was iteration number 0. So this was the first, well, number 1. I'm not a computer. This is the first one. It did almost perfect out of the gate. I went back and forth. I wanted it to blur me a little bit more. This was kind of what I was going for, really. Then I went one step too far, and it like pushed me back because I wanted it to have me holding the hand out further so that the distance between me and the actual bag itself was more. It didn't quite understand that. Then finally we got down to what I was pretty much happy with, and it's almost the same as the first version. You can just go back up here. almost the same, but it's got me blurred out a little bit, which I like this. The focus is on the bag of coffee. Okay, at this point, here's something that you might want to try doing. Can you give me a system prompt that can generate, how do I make a square? Can generate this style and type of product photography. So I basically said, hey, look at what we've been doing and now create a prompt that I can throw into a project, which it did so right down here. I copied all this and put it into a new project and then gave it a couple more pictures. So I gave it my headshot and I gave it the bag again. And then I gave it, hey, this is the summer coffee we're about to have. Can you do one with this bag? And by the way, give me a new background. And check that out. It did exactly that. And it looks really darn good. Now, the hand and fingers, I can tell a little bit that those aren't my fingers, but that doesn't even matter in something like this. I'll show you what does matter here in a couple more iterations and show you what I had it tweak. So I had it give me another one in a lighter colored shirt, a little change of wardrobe without having to change the wardrobe. Then here's the only misstep. See, that looks weird. That's not me. It did something to my face here. And this is what we used to get all the time. And by the way, it also changed my fingers. These look even more different than my fingers. Or they just look like a different version in that photograph. The lighting's a little bit different. But the face is obviously wrong. I told it, hey, this is totally wrong. Go back to what you were doing. You got to use my actual face. And so it did. It went back and realized the error of its ways. This looks a lot better. You know, I know our labels go a little bit more towards the edge of our bags, but only marginally so. And for this purposes, this is perfectly fine. Then I had it blur me a little bit more. And then here's what was a problem, at least for me. I mean, you probably don't know that that's not my arm down there in the short sleeves, but I can tell like my arm's just kind of a little bit thinner than that, a little bit more veiny. I thought that my arm looked weird. So I told it, hey, put me back in the long sleeve. You can roll up the sleeves a little bit and check it out. It did a great job of that. Believe me, in long sleeve button downs. And that's what we got, which I'm incredibly impressed with this. But I'll go you one further because then I started looking on Facebook Ad Manager. Is that what it's called? Oh, the ad library, to see what some of our competitors are running ads on and their photography that they're taking. Pulled a couple of Starbucks ads down and I said, hey, could we make some product photography that emulates this style, only make it our own? And look at that. It did. Here's the coconut cream pie cold brew that we've got upcoming. And this is in the style of a Starbucks photo that I found. And it looks really, really good. Now, the label or the logo, it's weird the things that it gets wrong because I'm just looking at this iteration for the first time. That's not our logo. And I gave it the actual specific JPEG file to use, so I don't know why it's having trouble with it again. If you scroll up here to the first version, the milk and cookies ice latte, it did a perfect job with this. And I'd given it this. It even matched the color pretty much to the chocolate color that it's using on that chocolate syrup. I'm not a designer, guys, but this is incredibly good, and it didn't take me long. This was iteration number 1, and it screwed up the logo because I hadn't given it one yet in this project, so it just had this generic thing down here, but that was the only thing I saw wrong with it. Skip to version 2, we're perfect, and then we've got this one right here, which is, it's going to need some tweaking, but it's pretty close to perfect too. So, on the whole, this is ChatGPT Image version 2.0. I remember 1 year ago when Image Generation 1.0 came out and it was blowing people's minds. And at that time, what were we doing? We were making a bunch of those anime style cartoon or caricatures of ourselves. And we're just at the next level because this is doing some photorealistic stuff. It's not messing up hardly any. I haven't seen any text that's messed up blatantly, like typos and stuff like that it used to do. Oh, I'll show you one more thing. I ran the Knoxville Marathon earlier this month, and I was like, hey, what if I combined my Strava data with my official race times, with the marathon route over Google Maps, with a picture that I found of me on the course, with all the sponsor data down at the bottom, and said, hey, make a cool looking poster. I wonder what it'll come up with. Well, this is what it came up with, and kind of blown away by this. The marathon route was the hardest thing to get right just because the image was so small. I guess that's why. I don't know. So this part right in here is not quite perfect, but it is very, very close. We did some weird turning and crossing of paths and stuff when we got into that section of downtown. Same thing down here. That's pretty close, but it's not quite right. So there's some stuff that it got a little bit wrong, but on the whole, it was really close. This should be Park Ridge rather than Part Ridge. And then you can't read Island Home Park or Island Park Home. Island Home Park? I can't remember now. I should know that. But everything else, I mean, look at this. This is awesome. I mean, whoa, zooming way in. This is really, really cool. What are you making with ChatGPT 2.0? This is going to be really killer use cases for especially product photography and graphic designers and stuff. Again, in the hands of an actual graphic designer, I can only imagine the good that this is going to do, the productivity gains that are going to be have. Because I'm not a great designer. I've got a decent eye for what looks good when things look good, but that's about it. But if I can do stuff like this, oh man, this is really cool. What a time to be alive. Hope that's helpful for you. If it was, I've got a free newsletter for AI strategy and automations for normal people and modern businesses. I talk about all this stuff and more over there. Hope you'll join me. It's all free. And if nothing else, the easiest thing you can do to support me is click the old like button and subscribe button. And I'll talk to you next time.